I would say I've not played enough like I was expecting to play, so it's really very hard for me to tell too much of experience about this tournament. But so far, for the games I've played, I'm really seeing it's intense. It's not just a word like World Cup. People really come to play. Yeah.
After what happened yesterday, how important was it for you girls to play and win this game against Malawi?
We really needed the win because it's drawing us to the position games, and it is what we are looking for. This win really means a lot, and it has given us another chance to play against South Africa, of which we really have to go hard tomorrow to win the game so that we can be able to move our position forward.
How tough was this game? From watching from the bench and later coming on, how tough was Malawi as an opponent?
These girls of Malawi, at first they were not playing their game, but I think when they realized the game is going to be intense, they came on physically strong. So they were playing a physical game, contacting, doing all that. And we also knew what they were doing, and we had to adjust immediately. That's why we were able to get the win.
Well, yesterday all of you were bracing yourselves for South Africa. Of course, you qualified for the next stage. Chances are that you will beat South Africa on Sunday for position 5 and number 6. What kind of surprise should we expect on Sunday?
Expect a stronger team than the other one of yesterday, because at least we learned what they can do better and where they can make mistakes, and we are going to adjust on that. And we're really coming for the win because we really need it. We need to change our position.
And then I told the girls, now the moment you start playing that clean netball of ours, then we are bound to lose this game. So what you have to do is just to go back and also fight, because it has now become a fighting game. Let's fight because we want the win, and that's exactly what we did, and we got that win. To me, I think first and foremost, the system that is used, first of all, for determining how, maybe the ranking. To me personally, I would think that they should have particular competitions or tournaments that favor each and every country that plays netball in order for people to earn points to be ranked. But when you put on that test series, now this test series that determines the ranking is only for those countries that they have the resources. You find a team, country like Australia, inviting New Zealand, inviting England, inviting those who have the money. And they play that tournament over there, the test series, and they are earning points. But poor countries cannot. Because if you say maybe you want Australia to invite you to go to Australia from the way from Uganda, it's a lot of money. But if they say that now the ranking is based on maybe African championships, which every African country plays, World Cup, like this one here, or maybe any other tournament that they would think fit for people to participate in. And secondly, I think as Africa, we still have a problem. To me personally, I think African netball has not done enough. Because when you look at Africa, we have over 50 countries in Africa. But when there is an African championship, the maximum I've ever seen is about 9 countries participating. And those countries are from the south and also East Africa, maybe Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, if they are told they have the funds. But you only find South Africa, Malawi, Botswana, and whatever. Now, what happens with the North Africans? What happens with the Central African, the West Africans? Now, what I think is African netball should look at the way of developing the sport, approaching those countries so that netball is competitive. Now, you can't now look at the way we are playing. We say netball in Africa is competitive when there are only 2 countries, or 3 countries. But if we had many countries playing, I think we would be on top of the world. Because I don't think whether the Australian or the New Zealanders would be top where they are. African countries would be there. But because we lack those competitions, and that's what is putting us behind.
If you do make them?
Yeah, I think we shall not maybe play the way we played yesterday, because we started on a very low note. Trailing by 14 goals at halftime, it was too much for us. And if we had kept that margin low, maybe around 5 goals, I think we would have won that game yesterday. But because the players used a lot of energy in order to cover up that gap, I think when we meet, in case we meet, I think we shall start from the first whistle and see what happens next. Now, what I know, unless there is a miracle that will happen, I know South Africa is going through. I don't see any way that Tonga will go through that. But what we are going to do is, whoever comes our way, we shall play our game. And the issue of Bagara playing, yeah, yesterday as we were playing, she was watching on her bed, and she was like, she wanted to go through the screen to come and watch play the game. And now today in the morning when I asked her, I said, how do you feel? She said, Coach, I think by the time of the match, I'll be ready to play. And when he arrived in the dressing room, I even asked her, I said, are you able, can you play? Then she said, Coach, let me go in. The moment I feel that I cannot continue, I will signal to you and then maybe you bring another person. And after playing a quarter, I asked her, I said, no, she said, Coach, I can still continue until I finish because she didn't want us to lose this game. Yeah. Yeah, just as I said, in order for us to be maybe in a World Cup semi-final or whatever it is, Africa itself, as African netball should do, make sure that there is a lot of competition in Africa. Because you can find, since we played last year in Namibia, the Africa Cup, there is no any other tournament that the teams play. Now you'll find that in the next tournament that is going to take place, there are countries that have not participated in any tournament. Now this is the time they are going to come when the Africa Cup is there. Now you can imagine a person or a country playing only one tournament in a year. Now how do you expect to compete with people who have been playing various tournaments? And some countries in Africa don't have league in their countries, I think. They don't have those leagues. The moment they have the league there, then they would have players to pick on. Then the national teams, the moment they form the national teams, there are no competitions. What do we do? So if Africa maybe, as I was saying, if they can maybe divide Africa into zones and make us play East Africa, North Africa, West Africa, and then the day after we come and play as a continent, I think with the many competitions, Africa can topple these people and remove these guys who are on top of the world in netball. Because we have the talents. Okay? The way you see Africans play, we have the talents. And the other thing, maybe what I would say is that also in Africa, we are not united. They look at other countries as enemies when you come to compete. Instead of helping each other as Africans so that we can, but we find ourselves at par, separately. Everybody wants to move her own way. But if we are united, say, okay, we can have way of exchanging ideas, and then we form up stronger teams, I think we can remove those, the Australians or the New Zealanders from where they are on top of there.